All right, welcome to everybody on Twitch, making certain that everything is connected and ready to go here before we go too much full bore forward. Also, let me just make certain that everything is where it needs to be on the audio because we had some disconnections once again, but making certain that everything is where it needs to be. And so far, I think we're doing all right. So should be good to go for this evening. A lot of problems going on out west. Numerous tornado watches in effect from Iowa, Nebraska, all the way down to Texas, and some active tornado warnings as we are netcasting for tonight. So if you have any plans to be traveling through this area later on, got some pretty good amounts of severe weather potential into and around the area as we go toward next couple of days. For us, the worst of the worst will be again occurring out here tonight and a little closer to us as we get into the next couple of days. That is where we're really going to be focusing on for the update coming up through the rest of the evening. So definitely want to keep track of what's going on there. All right, we are live and direct. I am Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek from downtown Chattanooga. This is Weather Overtime, keeping you updated as to what is going on in regards to weather across the Tennessee River Valley and beyond. It is a quiet evening here. We have had a couple of thunderstorms north of Chattanooga. We haven't really had a lot happening at this point, but for Monday, May 6th, let me just check the audio here real quick. And that sounds good. Okay, cool. Just want to make certain everything's working properly. Again, so far, not doing too bad, but maybe in the next few days we could be seeing some possible problems out there. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's go ahead and get our radar up and going so you can see more about what is happening for right now. Just about 10 o'clock, about 10 minutes before 10 o'clock, we've got some thunderstorms back over Middle Tennessee, kind of paralleling Interstate 40 east of Nashville, and that is the heaviest activity around Cookeville. We're seeing some of that lightning on our camera displays tonight. If we take a look at some of those cameras in just a minute, we might see some more of that activity going on. In the meantime, some thunderstorms diminishing in activity well back over around Johnson City, some severe thunderstorm warnings going on there. So if my daughter and son up that direction are keeping an eye on things, that is where we're seeing the worst of the worst activity for now. Severe thunderstorm warning for, okay, got to make certain that is held together. This is a severe thunderstorm warning for the area around Washington County, Tennessee, right up against the North Carolina line, and some pretty heavy weather coming on through there. Much of what we're seeing again for tonight, these thunderstorms that have come on through round about the area of Smithville earlier this evening, currently getting another round of thunderstorms going through Smithville, and that dropping on down to the south and east. Now, this will be affecting portions of the viewing area if this continues. We don't have, again, these are not severe right now, but right up around Bledsoe County, just making its way into the Bledsoe County area within about the next 15 to 30 minutes, but most of these cells appear to be kind of dropping in intensity. The lightning display is holding steady, but it is dropping as well, so we're not seeing quite as many in the way of lightning strikes. The counter up here, you can see we go from triple digits down to about now in the upper 20s, so we're definitely seeing a reduction in the amount of lightning out there. If you see a thunderstorm with growing amounts of lightning, that means the thunderstorm itself is growing and getting stronger. So we're not seeing that with this, so I don't think we're going to be staying late tonight, keeping an eye on that. But there could be more rumbles of thunder overnight, and there could be some problems again into early tomorrow morning. What we've got is, again, some fairly quiet conditions for right now. Downtown Chattanooga, looking north across the North Shore, around the area, across the Tennessee River, Bailey's Heating and Air Camera looking off that direction and not showing too much right now in the way of visibility problems. Had some decent amounts of sunshine earlier, but now just cloudy skies, a little bit of stars out there. Looks like Orion sinking back into the west, and we'll continue again to see more clouds into the next couple of days or so. See if we can see anything on News 12 studio camera, Patriot Concrete camera. Some lightning just way off on the horizon there. looking back northwest, but just a little bit occurring there just as we brought the camera up. Patriot Concrete camera not showing any raindrops on the lens at this point in time. And then 2475 Chattanooga CHI Memorial Stadium, looking back toward the Chattanooga Airport across the horizon there. Tomahawk crane and rigging camera looking northwest, just barely able to see the lights of Signal Mountain off in the distance. And traffic moving along, it looks like for right now, so no big problems there. Downtown Chattanooga Theater Center, Speedy's Total Car Care camera from the Chattanooga Theater Center, Coolidge Park, the footbridge off on the Tennessee River. Again, very quiet for the time being. And one more check. Let's see what's going on at the Chattanooga Zoo camera. Erlanger Hospital off in the distance. This is looking northwest, so we may pick up a lightning strike or two going on there, but diminishing amounts of lightning at this time. We've got some very mild conditions last week and into the weekend. We've had some very sultry evenings, no less so tonight. 60% humidity, dew point at 64, 79 degrees. So we've got some very decently mild temperatures, to say the least, and we'll probably be looking at more of that in the next several days. Right before 10 o'clock, temperatures in the 60s and 70s across the area. Warmest numbers, Chattanooga, 77 degrees showing up there. So we do have a little bit more in the way of warmer weather. Southerly winds doing a good job of pushing more moisture up our direction and the potential of seeing more in the way of showers and thunderstorms. We did have, again, some pretty good amounts of problems from those thunderstorms earlier. A lot of special weather statements, as we showed you a while ago. The potential for more of this activity drifting on through later on tonight could be an issue for overnight and into tomorrow morning. So what is the situation? We've got winds out of the south. That's supplying the fuel for these thunderstorms. Into the next couple of days, we are going to see the possibility of getting some more warm, moist air coming on through. And then that also gives us the potential for some very mild conditions right on through the rest of the week. We've got this very powerful storm system. This thing gained a lot of strength in just about the last 24 hours or so, and this is what is going to be, again, giving us the potential for all of this severe weather. This is a pretty tightly wrapped system moving from off the Rockies down into the Plain States. That is where these systems really pick up a decent amount of energy, and that's exactly what's happening for tonight. Moisture being escorted northward, and this is the system that's going to be affecting us into the next few days. We're still looking at the potential of severe weather tonight. It's a marginal threat. This forecast, several hours old. Good possibility this will be updated hopefully before too much longer. From the Storm Prediction Center. Let me just do something off camera here to see if they've updated this recently. We're seeing also, and this is really incredible to take a look at. Okay, this is relatively recent, about 8:50 p.m. Eastern time, so this is about an hour old, somewhere in there. Next update will be at about 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. The really big thing to take a look at here from the Storm Prediction Center is this, way back off to our west. That is, if you take a look at the color coding of the legend up here, this is as high a threat as you can possibly get. It's labeled high. That is, again, a high risk of severe weather in the purple shaded category. Not for us. I want to reiterate that right now. We're not seeing anything like that at this time. We have all the color coding, this big avocado of severe weather, as it's called sometimes on social media. The severe threat from roughly Wichita, Kansas, down past Oklahoma City. We've had numerous tornadoes already spotted, some by around Smithville, Tennessee earlier, not seeing anything in the way of damage reports. We'll go back and take a look at that in a little bit. The big thing is for us that we've got a marginal threat of severe weather, and that is for the area here. Now, that should last possibly through about tomorrow morning. So some of the storms that we get will be strong to borderline severe. This does not look to be a big severe weather outbreak. Coming up tomorrow, we'll stay in that. Well, let me go ahead and show you that while I'm talking about it. So again, the big action out this direction. As we go into tomorrow, the big severe weather threat will be well to our north. Fort Wayne, Indiana, Columbus, Ohio, right about the eastern Indiana, western Ohio area, we are going to see, again, mainly just looking at the potential of a marginal threat. And again, that's not a huge threat, but it is still a possibility of severe weather. Note how close that slight risk category is over portions of the area of northern Tennessee, Kentucky, back into around Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. The pale green area, that indicates, again, the potential for just thunderstorms, not looking at severe weather. So western North Carolina down through north central Georgia between us and Atlanta, less potential of severe weather here, but there will still be a possibility of the best potential here in the marginal threat. Now, this is Tuesday evening late. As we go into Wednesday, watch this change from a marginal threat to a slight risk. So we're going upwards on the possibility through Wednesday evening into around Thursday morning. I think that's going to be the best potential. And notice the threat increases back to the north and west of Nashville. So that gets us into more potential problems out there. The worst possibility back to the north and west of us. So on Wednesday, so far, the main threat from the Ohio River Valley down through the Mid-South, off toward the Arklahoma area, and back up to roughly about I-70. For us, it's a lesser threat, but it is still a potential of severe weather. So that is something that is really going to have to be paid attention to. So if you have plans, again, for travel, for outdoor activities, keep them, but be ready to get back indoors again. Pay attention to the weather into the next several days, especially Wednesday night into Thursday. That's where we're going to be seeing a lot of the problem there, and big situation out west. We'll keep our eyes on that. For tonight, again, a marginal threat expected of that potential out there into the next couple of days, Tuesday specifically, especially Tuesday afternoon and evening. Excuse me. This is where we see the best possibility of severe weather according to the local National Weather Service forecast offices. Main threat is going to be for damaging winds, large hail, and the possibility of some flash flooding, lower potential of flash flooding and tornadoes. I think there's still going to be a possibility of that, and again, that's going to be late on Tuesday. Now, this is where things get a little bit more interesting as we go through Wednesday evening into Thursday morning. This is where things really start to ramp up by just a little bit. We see a higher threat of damaging winds. We see a higher threat of large hail. Some of these storms out west tonight, we're talking about 2 to 4 inches. We're talking tennis ball to almost softball sized hail way out west in Kansas. So that's some significant, amazing, dangerous energy taking place. Slight risk category for the most part. Again, for right here, again, less of a threat down to the southeast, but a higher threat of a lot of different severe weather modes. Now, tornadoes, we've kept it on the medium side of things. That could really change if this system comes on through. We're not seeing, again, this far out. 3 days out is a little bit difficult to nail down for severe weather. We see signs, we see trends, but we don't get an as accurate forecast as we do when we close that gap and get to about 24 to 36 hours. That means that all of this and what I just showed you, the maps and this threat bar assessment, all of this could change, and we are going to see that potential coming on through. Again, I think late Wednesday, probably sunset into the early morning hours of Thursday, and then the thunderstorm threat continues as we go into Thursday. So the best potential Wednesday evening into and around Thursday, and we see, again, that raising of the threat to this level by now. 3 days out, that's something to really watch and to make certain that you are prepared and ready to go on that. We'll talk about preparation coming up here in just a little while. So what else are we looking at? For right now, there is one other threat we need to talk about, and that is Thursday, May 9th, as the system plows on through. So starting off early Thursday up here and then back into the area, moving away to the south and to the east. This is where the Weather Prediction Center is saying that keeps track of the potential of flash flooding. We could be looking at several inches worth of rainfall here. That could lead to flash flooding. The worst potential for now, northeastern Alabama and back into northern Georgia. That's not to say that beforehand Chattanooga, Tennessee, North Carolina could see some of that rain possibly causing a problem into the rest of the area south of Chattanooga. So everybody needs to watch out for flash flooding. Everybody also needs to keep track of the changeability of the forecast in the next few days with the threat, the amount of threat, the timing of the threat, everything. And we'll have more of that narrowed down as we go into the next 24 hours. So tomorrow night, Tuesday, I would keep it tuned to News 12, and we will keep you advised as to what may be heading our direction. Cannot overemphasize this enough. We really have to pay attention to what is going on here. So in the next few days, again, next 7 days, we're looking at the potential of the heaviest amount of rainfall, mainly north of us, but all that water's got to go someplace. A few days ago, we were looking at about 2 to 3 inches over much of Tennessee, North Alabama, and back into the Mid-South. That appears to have shifted slightly back to the north, so we might not be picking up as much in the next same time period, but that is also the possibility where we get those heavier amounts of rainfall. Now, if we get enough rain earlier, it comes on through, cools off the atmosphere, we may not see quite as much in the way of severe weather. That's, again, a bit of an iffy situation. We'll have to see what goes on. And I have to add that the National Weather Service in Morristown was saying by the time we hit Wednesday, Tuesday's severe weather threat seems to be about on schedule, and they've got a lot of confidence that this is what we're going to be expecting here, including the potential of some severe weather modes, but not a huge problem. Going into Wednesday, the threat rises, and we see a higher, more widespread potential of severe weather. But the National Weather Service is saying also that there's a possibility that the rain earlier on Tuesday might kind of take a bite out of this energy. The rain moves in before the main storm system. That can cool off the atmosphere and not make things as unstable. But there's always that possibility that that storm system coming in from the west is going to have enough energy to tap into that moisture, draw more moisture up from the Gulf of Mexico, and give us the severe weather threat regardless of how much rain has come through earlier. So again, this really needs to be watched, and this is not trying to panic anybody. This is trying to make certain that everybody is aware and ready to go. This is going to be one of the best things that you can possibly do at this point. Knowing where to get your severe weather information, National Weather Service, News 12, making certain you've got multiple ways of getting informed of changes in the forecast, also making certain that you've got everything charged and ready to go. Know where your safe place is, know how to get there. Make certain that you, again, have the potential for getting to where you need to go to. That's going to be one of the best things that you are going to be able to do so from out there. Just typing in one thing here that I want to show you at this point. Again, the best thing you can possibly do is to be ready ahead of time. Let me show you this real quick. We'll go back to the forecast in just a little bit. This is from the United States government, ready.gov. And I'm going to be talking to kids at Calvin Donaldson Elementary tomorrow about this topic. The kids at Calvin Donaldson have been doing a project about emergencies and getting ready for them. That is one of the coolest science classes I have ever heard of. My friend Ellen Lehman is inviting me there tomorrow to help talk about things, and this is going to be one of the things that we talk about here. We explore about what is called a go bag. If you've never heard of that before, it's a bag that you can pick up and go as you need to. So if you need to get out of a structure, if you need to get away from an area evacuating, this is a good way to put together a kit involving what you will need to just pick up and get out. That could really help you stay alive and stay safe. So something to think about, basic disaster supplies. You can find out more at ready.gov/kit, K-I-T. that could really help you out on a lot of different things. And we'll talk more about preparation coming up here in just a little bit. Let me get on to the forecast so everybody can see a little bit more about what's happening. Waiting for signs of lightning back to the north of us. May get a couple of flashes here. Best lightning taking place right now back up around I-40, but not seeing any major amounts of flashes on the Island Cove Marina and Resort. Camera got one lone boat out on the water moving on through, and a lot of clouds back to the north. Now the best threat again will be coming up as we get into Wednesday into Thursday, Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Shower and thunderstorm chances best again at that time frame, with some heavy rain not out of the question for Thursday. Maybe after midnight on Friday, some showers and thunderstorms continue. But look at what happens to the temperatures and the conditions. Sylvester the Spider hanging out and getting a cameo there. We see some very nice conditions into the weekend and beyond. Mid to upper 70s, just below normal on temperatures. Lower 50s, that's going to feel really nice. But for the weekend, we get rid of the whole storm system. Drier, cooler air sets in from parts of Canada, and we'll see better conditions out there as we go into the second weekend of May. Coming up on Mother's Day as well. I need to get that graphic in there. Thank you, Andrew Harrison, for reminding me of that. So far, that's the good news that we have. The bad news is we're going to have to keep a very close eye on what is happening here. So again, for right now, that's going to be the major concern that we have. For severe weather, keep it tuned to News 12 and be prepared to be ready to go just in case, to get yourself settled in, because we will need to make sure that we are paying attention to that. Almanac page, 1/4 of an inch today. We reduced our deficit for the year, but only by about a fraction of an inch to 1.8 negative. And we have a positive balance now for May. We're right about where we should be for the month, just about a half an inch or so. And again, today's high temperatures, very warm, came within 8 of a record high, and not too shabby on the low temperature either, but very much on the mild and above normal side of things. So if you're going to be heading out the door with the kids in the morning, I think you're going to see a muggy, partly cloudy start to the day. Could be some leftover showers, but I think most of those should be gone. I think the best potential of rain is going to be by the time the kids head home, and that is where we could be seeing the potential of some stronger weather coming through, and that includes the potential of maybe some problems into and around the area with the possibility of seeing some delays at the bus stop. Something to think about. The kids might need some rain protection at least going home from school, so something to think about at that area. Let's make certain we stay safe. Again, Chip Chapman has your going to school forecast early tomorrow morning starting at 5 a.m., so more there. Getting out and about for anything outdoors, again, early in the morning, probably not the best opportunity with the heat and humidity starting things off very much on the warm side. And then later during the afternoon, that's where we see the best possibility of some thunderstorms coming through, which means that if you're going to be trying to hit the golf ball around the golf course, you may see some problems with the gopher and the humidity early, but more chances of showers and thunderstorms as we go into the afternoon. Anything past about noon, if you can get in a golf expedition before lunchtime, around lunchtime, that might help. But always remember, if you see this out in the skies, time to wrap up and get back indoors, not at the end of the golf course, not after you go for another round of 9 or 18. Wrap it up, get back indoors again, and wait until there is no lightning out there 30 miles away, 30 minutes again from the last time you saw a lightning strike or detected it on radar. This is going to be one of the best things that you can possibly do for safety out there. All right, it has begun that time of the year where we have the the convergence of a ton of different broods of cicadas, billions of them expected, and one detected by Bonnie Whitmer from Cohutta. Thank you very much for our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. Got pictures, cicada related or otherwise. We love science, we love weather, so go ahead and send those in to them. Pictures at WDEF.com, our social media pages, or go to the brand new section of our website, WDEF.com/photos, for more information about what you could send in and look at all the other stuff that people are submitting for the Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. Thank you very much to everybody for sending in some excellent pictures out there. All right, I want to take a very quick look as to what's going on into the tropics, because as of right now, there's really nothing happening at this point. If I can get the pause point ready to go here. There we go. No activity at this time, according to the National Hurricane Center. About 2 weeks ago, we had a system form in the north, give or take roughly about the middle of the Atlantic. It was a very low probability of anything coming out of that. But these waters are warmer than they have been in quite some time. The waters right now are equally as warm as they should be in July. This area of the ocean of our planet has had very few chances to cool off in the winter. So we're starting off warm, and if we're starting off warm, we're going to be very, very unseasonably scary warm as we go into the rest of the forecast. So for right now, there's nothing going on. But this is a perfect time to start preparing, because this week marks Hurricane Preparedness Week, offered by NOAA. It started on Cinco de Mayo, and it will continue through the rest of the week. And there are different topics to study throughout the next several days. And you can look these all up as you go into the next few days. Yes, we live far away from the ocean. We live several hundred miles from the ocean. But a lot of people who are going to be out and about are going to be going to the ocean for pleasure, for business, for whatever, volunteer efforts, cleaning up the beach. And with this system expected to be one of the most active in living memory, this is imperative to keep track of what is going on, because the warning that we can give you of a storm possibly heading our way, coming in from way out over the ocean, we now have amazing tools, satellite. We have computers that can do a lot of great forecasts. We can give you a better idea as to what might be coming on through, and that is what we need to heed into the next several days and weeks. But if you go to the beach, or if you are planning to stay at the beach for weeks on end, months on end, maybe you're a beach comber and want to go down that direction and have some fun for a while, that's great. Sounds wonderful. I'm envious. But there are things you need to know. So yesterday's topic was know your risk about water and wind. You have the threat of what the wind is blowing. You also have the threat of storm surge, as that large dome is underneath the storm. That area of low pressure can form a dome of water which can move with the storm, and that is what floods into an area. That is that's a killer. That it can be one of the most underestimated killers of hurricane season, to where, like Katrina, the waters just kept rising and people had to go up on their roofs. Not the place you want to be in a category 3, 4, or 5 hurricane. So preparing before the season is the topic today. I'm not going to click on this for right now. I'm going to leave this to you. If you would like to know more, I'm not going to go through everything and read all the topics. When I go to a presentation or a seminar, I always hate it when people read verbatim what is on the screen. So if you'd like to know more, website available here, NOAA, NOAA.gov. That's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA.gov/hurricane-prep. That's the website you can go to for all of these topics. And again, we can get leftover storms here in the Tennessee River Valley, in the News 12 viewing area. Hurricane Cindy made a visit to Memphis while I was still there as nearly a tropical storm, all the way up to almost Oxford, Mississippi. That's pretty far north in Mississippi for a tropical storm to keep going. Now is the time to pay attention as to what to do, how to get ready, and how to get out of an area should it become necessary. That's the topic for Wednesday. I hope we have some time to cover these in the next few days, but I get the feeling we're going to be very busy with severe weather. So get moving when a storm threatens. Not the place you want to be. When the officials and the forecasters say it's time to go, it's time to go. Time to get moving, time to get out of the path of the storm. even a tropical storm, even a Category 1 storm, it only takes one storm to ruin a lot of planning and a lot of patience and a lot of preparation. So get out of the way of the storms. Listen to the forecast. Listen to the elected leaders and the scientists to tell you when it's time to get on out of a picture. This is going to become very important very soon because we are now, this is the 6th of May. We have just over 2 weeks until hurricane season begins, basically. Well, let's call it about 3 weeks, somewhere in there. So, yeah, about 3 weeks, give or take. So we don't have much time. We're coming up to the beginning of what could be a memorable, possibly dangerous season. So this is something that we really need to keep track of. So definitely want to keep it tuned to News 12, and we'll keep you advised about that. So, again, for preparation purposes, we've talked a lot about that for tonight, and just want to make certain that everybody is in fact ready to go. Let me make certain I have mine ready to go here because it's time to talk about our friend in roofing.com weather quiz question of the day. And since it's about the tropics today and the beginning of hurricane season soon and hurricane preparedness, the question is related to the tropics. According to several sources, National Hurricane Center included, Florida is the #1 state to be hit by a hurricane in this area of the world. What state is number 2? North Carolina, Texas, Virginia, or Louisiana? Curiously, and this is something I found very interesting, that Virginia got 0 votes. That was not something I was expecting, especially out there on the lead of the coast of the United States. Likewise, North Carolina came in second to last with only 7% of the vote. Texas got 31%, and double that voted for Louisiana. Now that I can see as a logical idea right there, but Texas is actually number 2 to get those storms. And that includes things like the 1900 Galveston hurricane, which if you've never read about that and want to be scared by weather, that's a great informational book to do that. Isaac Storm by Eric Klein, wonderful novel, terrifying about what happened, but a good opportunity to take a look at that. But the answer for today is actually Texas, which came in second on our WDEF.com/vote now, friendinroofing.com poll of the day. New poll goes up at midnight, and we'll be glad to, again, keep that going. So please vote when you can, and we'll have more on what's going on in the tropics as we go throughout the course of the next few days. Wow, okay, we've been on for just over 32 minutes, and again, just want to reiterate, we've got some possibly dangerous weather heading our way, so definitely a time to keep it tuned to News 12 as to what may be coming our direction. So please stay, the hashtag at this point in time is going to be weather aware. Please keep up to date with the forecast. Please have your plan in action and ready to go. If we have time tomorrow and we don't have any severe weather, we'll talk more about preparation, about the best place to be during a tornado. I'm going to be talking a lot about that at Calvin Donaldson Elementary tomorrow morning. Afternoon, sorry about that. I'll be there about during the afternoon hours. If you'd like to know more about me or anything else that I'm doing, check out all my social media pages. I'm still off of Facebook until they let me back on after someone tried to hack me. This forecast will always be available at WDEF.com/weather. Chip Chapman has got your forecast bright and early at 5 a.m. Definitely a forecast that you do not want to miss for these updates taking place. And again, we'll be monitoring any of these storms that come through. So keep it tuned to News 12 for a lot of information and a lot of changes in the forecast in the next few days. Please, above all, be weather aware. Time to think about safety first and foremost. So please make sure that you're ready to go by keeping track of the weather, knowing your severe weather plan, having a severe weather plan, making certain that you have, again, everything ready when it comes to an evacuation or a shelter-in-place type situation, and make certain that you have a communications plan. All of these plans, putting them together, winging it is not a plan. So have an actual plan. Write it down, practice it, get it ready, because I have a feeling we're probably going to need it as we go into the next couple of days. Live and direct from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee on Monday evening, the 6th of May. Thanks for joining us. More coming up on your forecast on air and online with News 12.